अतिरावणचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 10, Maharaj Rahugana meets Jadabharata, Text 19. Aham cha yogeshwara atmatattvam vidam muninam paramam gurum vai prashtum pravritta kimiharanam itat साक्षाद्धरिं ज्ञानकलावतीर्णम् अहं च योगेश्वरमात्मतत्त्व विदां मुनीनां परमं गुरुं वै प्रष्टुं प्रवृत्त किमिहारणं तत् साक्षाद्धरिं ज्ञानकलावतीर्णम्। प्रष्टुं प्रवृत्ता किमिहारणं तत् साक्षाद्धरिं ज्ञानकलावतीर्णम्. Ladies, please. अहं च योगेश्वर आत्मतत्त्वा विदां मुनीनां परमं गुरुं वै प्रष्टुं प्रवृत्त किमिहारणं तत् साक्षाद्धरिं ज्ञानकलावतीर्णम्. Very good, thank you. Would you like to try? Okay, word for word. Aham, I, cha, and Yoga Ishwaram, the master of all mystic power. Atma Tattva Vidam, of the learned scholars who are aware of the spiritual science. Muninam, of such saintly persons. Paramam, the best. Gurum, the preceptor. Vai, indeed. Prashtum, to inquire. Pravrittaha, engaged. Kim, what? Iha, in this world. Aranam, the most secure shelter. Tat, that which. Sakshat Harim, directly the personality of Godhead. Jnana Kala Avatirnam, who has descended as the incarnation of complete knowledge in his plenary portion known as Kapila Dev. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I consider your good self the most exalted master of mystic power. You know the spiritual science perfectly well. You are the most exalted of all learned sages, and you have descended for the benefit of all human society. You've come to give spiritual knowledge, and you are a direct representative of Kapila Dev, the incarnation of God and the plenary portion of knowledge. I am therefore asking you, O spiritual master, what is the most secure shelter in this world? Purport. As Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. Quote, of all yogis, he who abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. This is the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse 47. Jadabharat was a perfect yogi. He was formerly the Emperor Bharat Maharaj, and he was now the most exalted personality among learned sages and the master of all mystic power. Although Jadabharat was an ordinary living entity, he had inherited all the knowledge given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapil Dev. He could therefore be taken directly as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his stanzas to the spiritual master, Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastrai. An exalted personality like Jadabharat is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he fully represents the Lord by giving knowledge to others. Jadabharat is herein accepted as the direct representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he was imparting knowledge on behalf of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Maharaj Rahugana concluded that it was appropriate to ask him about Atma Tattva, the spiritual science. Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Eva Abhigachet. This Vedic injunction is also confirmed herein. If anyone is at all interested in knowing the spiritual science, Brahma Jigyasa, he must approach a guru like Jada Bharata. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Sulakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. This pastime has many, many lessons. One lesson that is significant for us as aspiring spiritualists is to learn from Maharaj Rahugana. The biggest mistake that Maharaj Rahugana made is, what do you think is the mistake? To take Maharaj Bharat, Jada Bharat as a fool. What's the principle? He chastised him. That came later. What was the principle that he... Very good. He judged on the basis of behavior and speech. In fact, he didn't speak. So just on the basis of behavior and outward appearance. So this we should be very careful. Generally, we ascribe, and to some extent it may be true, we ascribe substance to form. We look at something and we judge it on the way it looks. And partly, not partly, for a big reason, that is valid because that's the only method we know. Especially being in Kali Yuga, which is this very, very wonderful time, this very auspicious time called Kali Yuga. I'm being sarcastic. Kali Yuga forces a person to just go by externalities, by superficiality. In fact, in fact, superficiality becomes the norm of life. And it's there everywhere. Let's take some examples of where we see superficiality. You walk into a restaurant and people smile at you. Welcome. They're not happy to see you. They're supposed to smile because they get paid for it. And if they don't smile, they don't have a job. What would you like? Especially if you've ever been on a plane. Yeah? Welcome, welcome. And when you're leaving, bye-bye now, bye-bye now. It's like they're happy to get rid of you. And you ask them, can I get another packet of peanuts? And they look at you as if you've asked them for their life or something. What? Another packet of peanuts? Didn't you buy your tickets online for like the cheapest price? And you want an extra 1 ounce of peanuts? You must be kidding me. Here. And they don't say bye to you when you're leaving the plane because they've marked you as like, this guy wants an extra bag of peanuts. Superficial. The politicians, they come out, mix in public, they smile, they pick up the children, they kiss the babies, they wave to everyone. It's all superficial. And people look at them and say, wow, very nice. You look at big buildings. In fact, the word is also called facade. Facade means what appears to you in front. What's behind, you don't know. Like the funeral home. I like to talk about the funeral home for some reason. It looks so beautiful outside. Inside is the stark reality of cremation. But it's facade. It has to look nice. Everything has to look nice. Superficial. Packaging. The whole concept in marketing is a product, and behind that is packaging. You may have the best product. If you haven't packaged it well, you're done. It's all what's external, superficial. People's lives, people's talks, people's commitments, they're all superficial. Superficial because there is substance lacking, supporting that form. But when there is substance, when there is genuine truth, or when there is something genuine, you don't need to package it necessarily. If you package it, well, nice, but even enough. When we genuinely say to someone, Hare Krishna, or the devotees genuinely smile to someone, wave to them, hi, how are you? They would have never met something so genuine in their entire life. Because the devotees, or Krishna, the devotee is not into superficiality. He is into something genuine. Unfortunately, Maharaj Rahugana, who was supposed to be trained as a saintly person, made the mistake of going for the externalities. Who is this dullard? And why is he like that? And so he chastised him. That was his mistake. And now he's repenting for that mistake. He's seeking forgiveness. And that's why the word, if you remember, in the past 2 or 3 verses, the same word appeared multiple times. Nigudha. Nigudha means hidden or covered. So he's saying to Jada Bharata, I'm so mistaken that I did not recognize your real self, which is hidden. Now the art that a devotee learns is to be like that, is to hide the genuine Krishna consciousness. It doesn't mean that they intentionally do something foolish or silly. The point is, it's a trait of humility. That Krishna consciousness is an internal thing. But the trait of an immature person is everything comes out, even whether it's the right time or not the right time, the right place or not the right place, the right circumstance or not the right circumstance. One doesn't know. We can call it gravity, we can call it maturity if you like. And so it's important. Great sages, they're not known to ordinary people because the ordinary persons look at externalities. When Shukadeva Goswami, he was walking towards Parikshit Maharaj, most people mistook him, especially the women and children. They heckled him. They threw stones at him and they were teasing him. But he didn't care. As soon as he walked into the assembly of the great sages, they all stood up to receive him because they recognized. So it takes one to know one. And that is why it's described that the secrets, the truths about life are hidden in the heart of a devotee. Nihitam guhayam. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. They are hidden deep in the heart of the devotees. So how to extract them? What is the catalyst, or what are the catalysts that allow for those deep hidden secrets to come out? It's the receiver's humility. It's the receiver's submissive attitude. When the receiver is submissive and genuinely inquiring, then all the jewels and pearls of the transcendental knowledge come out. If the receiver is not genuine, then they don't get it. Because the genuine person goes for the substance, not the form. And the not so genuine person goes for the form, not the substance. Or said it differently, the genuine person goes for the real nectar. And the not so genuine person goes for the externalities, the show of it. And so Prabhupada taught us in different aspects of our devotional life to always focus on the substance, not so much on form alone. Be it kirtan, be it book distribution, be it deity worship, be it anything. Our focus is on the substance. The substance is loving service to Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. That's the substance. When the substance is there, the form will manifest accordingly. But if just the form is there without the substance, it looks just like the same. But it's not the real thing. Like there is a genuine, let's say, wristwatch, and then there is a knockoff, like looks just like that. And many persons go for something that looks just like that, because either they can't afford it or they can't discern the difference between the two. What's the difference? This looks just like the original. This is good enough for me. But Maharaj Rahugana, because he is a well-trained king, he has come to his senses and he says, oh, hold on a second. I want the genuine thing. And the genuine thing is that he wants to hear from Jada Bharat the nectar of transcendental life. So he says, Atma Tattva Vidam. You are aware of transcendental or spiritual life or spiritual science. You are aware of it. Vidam means one who knows. And he actually extols him. He gives him different glorifications. First, he says you are Yogeshwaram. You're the master of all mystic power. Second, Atma Tattva Vidam. Atma Tattva Vidam means you know the science of spiritual life. Muninam. Amongst such great saintly persons, you are one of the best. Paramam. Muninam Paramam. You're the best of thoughtful persons. We'll go back to Muninam. Gurum Vai. Certainly you're a spiritual master for me. And he says, Sakshat Harim. Sakshat Harim is a phrase that we sing every morning. In the 7th verse of Guru Ashtakam. Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastrayar. Uktastata Bhava Eva Bhaveta Sadbhi. So Sakshat Dharim or Sakshat Hari means directly the personality of Godhead. That the spiritual master is as good as the personality of Godhead, because the spiritual master only teaches that which the personality of Godhead has spoken. He has no interest separate than that interest. No separate interest from Krishna's interest. And so he is Jnana Kala Avatiranam. This Jnana Kala Avatiranam means the incarnation of the personality of Godhead who manifested as the most knowledgeable person. That's Lord Kapila. So this Sakshat Dharitvena, Prabhupada explains, it says Samasta Shastrayar. That the spiritual master is as good as the personality of Godhead, he says, is explained in all the scriptures. Not just in one or two where you have to really hone down and search for, in such and such book, such and such chapter, one verse says it. It's not like that. The entire Vedas are filled with this principle. So he says, Samasta Shastra. Samasta Shastra means the entire scriptural body. And they say that he, the spiritual master, is very dear to Krishna because he has only one interest, the interest of Krishna. So, how to become dear to Krishna is this principle. The more we align our interest with Krishna's interest, we become dear to Krishna. The more we align our interests separate, or the more we are disaligned from Krishna's interest, we become very dear to Maya. She loves us for it. In fact, we become so attractive to her that she comes very quickly for us. For her, we become the most attractive. So this Sakshat Dharitvena principle is that the spiritual master is the representative for transcendental knowledge. So without Guru, a human being cannot become a human being. One may be born into the human species, but to become a real human being, one has to come in contact with the Guru. And with that Guru, one must inquire. Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. This is a Vedic aphorism. Without this, human life does not begin. And here it says, Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Eva Abhigachet. It's described, the word Abhigachet in Sanskrit is an imperative. That you could go, maybe you try a spiritual master. No options. Eva Abhigachet means one must. One must approach a spiritual master for tad vijnana artham, to have realization about what is life. We have realization about life on the basis of past karma, past experiences, what we have heard from others. We think that's what life is about. If we meet a person who has been, let's say, thoroughly abused, unfortunately, if that's the case, their outlook to life will be, there is nothing out there to look for. Everyone is out there just to take advantage of you. That's their principle of life. Or a person who might be very angry, they cannot see anything nice out there in the world. Everything is bitter. Their experiences are bitter, their outlook to life is bitter, etc. But that's not the purpose of life. To know what is the purpose of life is to, first of all, is to know that we are not this body. And that knowledge cannot be given by anyone other than a devotee of the Lord, who acts as the Guru in that case. So if in these verses, Maharaj Rahugana is submitting himself to Jada Bharat. This is a very important principle. Without submission, transcendental knowledge does not descend. We can say, I have a guru, or I've taken initiation from a guru. All that is fine. But they're all meant to indicate submission. Submission, in very simple language, means whatever idea or conception the spiritual master gives me, I drop my previous conception and accept his conception. This is called submission. I have an idea of how to be happy in this world, for example. And the spiritual master says, no, this is how you become happy. The degree of readiness with which we accept that idea and drop our idea, our pre-existing idea, that is an indication of submission, or the degree of submission. Some people don't take the spiritual master's conception. I mean, they say yes and all that. The head goes like this, the heart goes like that. That's possible. Or they take what the spiritual master says and mix it up with what they're already thinking, and they say, this is what my guru said. Happens. So we are asked to take the conceptions, the instruction of the spiritual master, and apply proper intelligence. associated with it. If it's not intelligence, then we will not understand what the instruction means. Because it's Thursday, it's a little warm. I'll tell you a story just to add a little, life into the class. There was a guru who had many, many disciples. Unfortunately, all his disciples were quite foolish. They had no intelligence. They were less intelligent. They were just dullards. They would just simply or blindly just do what the guru said without understanding what they're supposed to do or why they're supposed to do that. So the guru was a little concerned. If I die, all my disciples, what will happen to them? They're quite foolish. So maybe I should take them to a retreat and spend good time with them, instructing them and making them intelligent. So he told his disciples, pack your bags, we're leaving tomorrow morning. And we'll go for a few days, we'll focus on hearing and chanting. Yes, Gurudev. So they packed all their bags. So next morning when they were leaving, the Guru's lunch was packed nicely in a bag. He gave it to his disciples. He sat on they had an ass or a donkey as their pet. He sat on the donkey and they all walked behind him. And he said, let's go. Don't look here and there. And don't get distracted. Just keep walking. Don't worry. Even if some things fall, this, that, don't waste your time picking it up. Just follow me. They said, yes. So as they were walking, about mid-morning, early in the morning, the Guru's lunch bag fell down from the donkey. Now they didn't pick it up because the Guru said, don't look here and there. Even if some things fall, it's okay. Just keep walking. Because he didn't want them to get distracted. So they just walked. So about noontime they came to a nice grove of trees. The Guru sat down and said, okay, let's have lunch. Where's my lunch bag? Oh, Guru Maharaj, it fell down sometime in the morning, way back there. Why didn't you pick it up? Oh, you instructed us, do not pick anything. So we didn't pick anything. So my foolish disciples. So I have to skip lunch today. He said, all right. He was worried that next time he falls off the donkey or something. So he said, whatever falls from the donkey, you should pick it up. Yes, Gurudev. So as they were going along, the donkey had to pass stool. And as the stool was falling, they all put their hands right under to collect it. So sometime later, there was some bad smell. The Guru turned back and all the disciples are holding, donkey dung in their hand. So what are you doing? What is this? Oh, Gurudev, you gave us the instruction, whatever falls from the donkey, that I should carry. Stop, wash your hands, take a bath. Whatever falls from the donkey, do not pick it up. Is that clear? Yes. They walked ahead. The road was a little, not straight enough. And the Guru fell down. And they all kept walking. He said, oh, pick me up. Guru, give us proper instruction. Should we pick you up or not pick you up? You told us not to pick you up. You said anything that falls from the donkey, don't pick up. We're just following your instruction. You're confusing us. So proper understanding of instruction is necessary. The Guru's part of the instruction is to enhance one's intelligence. And that's what he's asking here. That I made a very unintelligent judgment. I went by your appearance. And I mistook you to be someone really foolish. I thought you were a dullard. But actually, you are the greatest of all mystics. You are fully aware of the spiritual science. And not only that, you're a direct representative of Lord Kapila. who is the incarnation of knowledge of the personality of Godhead. And therefore he is now seeking instruction from him. Yesterday's verse was Bruhi. Tad Bruhi asango jadavan nigudha. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, it all begins with this word, Bruhi. Right? Chapter 2, text number 7. Karpanya dosha pahata svabhava prichhami tvam dharma samudha cheta. Prichhami, I am asking you. And in this case he says, Prashtum, I am asking. Yasreyashan nishchitam bruhi tanme. Please speak to me. And when the Guru speaks, transcendental knowledge is imparted into the heart of the disciple. So when this is the mood that brings out all those jewels: submission, inquiry, and service. Without these three, that tattva, Atma Tattva, does not come out. Maharaj Rahugan has rendered service. He fell at his feet, fell at Jadabharata's feet, offered prostrated obeisances, offering him glorification. This is proper service, among other services. And is submitting to him saying, I don't know. Can you please tell me? When these three are there, we'll notice that Jadabharata will speak again and give him the meanings of these verses, what he has spoken earlier, because he has not understood it. Another place where someone made a mistake just on the basis of appearance. There are two pastimes. One is Devananda Pandit. He was a speaker of Bhagavatam. And in his scholarly presentation of Bhagavatam, once when Srivas Thakur came to that place where they were discussing Bhagavatam, he did not recognize who or how great Srivas Thakur was. And he did not give him proper respect. That was one place. Another place is Pradyumna Mishra came to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and asked to discuss transcendental subject matter. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent him to go meet Ramananda Raya. Said, Ramananda Raya knows better. You talk to him. So when he went to Ramananda Raya's house, he was expecting Ramananda Raya to be, I guess, studying scripture or something. But Ramananda Raya was massaging the bodies of these very young girls. He was massaging their bodies with oil and decorating them nicely as dancers for Lord Jagannath. Pradyumna Mishra waited and he was shocked to see this. Like, what is going on? Oh my gosh. He is involved in some really cheap stuff. He just came back. He didn't have a conversation. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Pradyumna Mishra, so did you discuss with Ramananda Raya? No, he was busy. I didn't. And later he revealed, I was really very shocked. So go back to Ramananda Raya. And when he went back and had conversations with Ramananda Raya, the degree of, I guess the high level of Krishna consciousness about rasa and all that Ramananda Raya spoke, Pradyumna Mishra had to sit down. His head was dizzy. He said, wow, I never thought that a person like you has such knowledge. I'm amazed. Or Gadadhar Pandit. He was taken by Narahari to, let's go meet Pundarika Vidyanidhi. Who's that? A very great person. Oh, really? When they go to Pundarika Vidyanidhi's house, he had his hair slick, nicely combed behind, full of fragrant oils, wearing very opulent silken garments, fancy sofas, servants fanning him, drinking fantastic beverages, not alcohol, but just different soothing beverages. And Gadadhar Pandit, who was a brahmachari in the temple, looked and said, whoa, who is this guy? Like, severe sense gratifier. How can he speak anything about Krishna consciousness? Like, that's what he was thinking. Mukunda recognized, whoa, Gadadhar Pandit is having some doubts. So he recited a particular verse from the Bhagavatam that describes Krishna's meeting with the gopis. And immediately Pundarika Vidyanidhi went into this severe trance, and he rolled off his bed, tore off his clothes, and just was complete ecstasy. And Gadadhar Pandit said, whoa, I made a big mistake. I went by the appearances. I just thought that, he was doing things that normal people do and he's just a sense gratifier. I didn't realize what's hidden inside. And his way of expressing that repentance or regret was that he asked Pundarika Vidyanidhi to become his guru. So the point is, on a day-to-day basis, we meet persons that generally we evaluate on the basis of appearances. And we should be careful about that. Now, people out there, we don't consider necessarily as great incarnations of Lord Kapila. But the point that we're being trained to look at is, regardless of appearances, gender, race, caste, financial condition, education or not, educated or not, regardless of all of that, inside is a spirit soul. And unless we carry that vision, we will not be able to recognize that. We have a tendency to fall for the externalities and commit the same mistakes of rejecting someone or judging someone just on the basis of externalities. So right from the beginning, our teachings in Krishna consciousness, right from day one, is you're not this body, that there is a spirit soul inside every living entity. And respect and regard and expression of love goes to the soul within the body, because they're all parts and parcels of Krishna. The stronger our connection with Krishna, the more acute our vision. When we see Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and ourselves as the servant of Krishna, then seeing other living entities the same way is possible. Otherwise it is not possible, how much ever one might try. One can try externally, but won't work. It only comes from the depths of, or on the strength of Krishna consciousness. And this is a simple principle, I'll end with this. In any circumstance, the degree of Krishna consciousness we experience in that situation depends upon how much we took into it. If you're not Krishna conscious, we cannot expect that in some circumstance something fantastic will happen. To whatever degree of Krishna consciousness we take in, that's what we experience. So it's up to us how much or what we want to experience. I have to get back into the kitchen, so I'm going to stop and see if there are a couple of comments and go back. Bhakta Adam? Did Jada Bharat have a guru? Yeah, in this verse, it seems to indicate Here. You have come to give spiritual knowledge, and you're a direct representative of Kapila Deva. He's born self-realized, but his consciousness is continuing from a previous life. So for him it's continuous. For us it's one body to another, and so we have to meet a guru to spark that dormant Krishna consciousness. For him it's not dormant, it's fully alive. It doesn't say that he such and such was his guru. There is indication in the beginning of the canto where Rishabdev is speaking. So in one sense, Rishabdev is his guru, his own father, because he's instructing all his sons. Right? So Rishabdev is also his guru. Yes, Prabhu. I don't know your name. Eric? Hare Krishna.
It does mention at one point that he has a Brahmin thread.
Yes.
So, he's from a Brahmin family, so it's probably by default he was initiated at some point.
Well, in the Smarta Brahmin line, generally a person, in the Vedic system, a person can have two gurus. One guru, now we make this distinction. Previously that may not be the case. The disciplic succession and the seminal line usually are the same. Where Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshyo viduhu. That one king would instruct his sons, and they would become Raja Rishis, and they would instruct their sons. So the seminal line and the disciplic succession, in many cases, were the same. In the later context, it's not necessary that they have to be the same. There can be a seminal line of gurus and a disciplic succession of gurus. Both were considered valid, depending upon the intensity of that line. So although he was born with a Brahmin thread, there are no indications that he performed any Brahminical activity. In fact, there are indications to the contrary. In the Vedic system, there are samskaras, starting with Garbhadana samskara. Then there is many. There are 16, I think, real ones. Some significant ones are Garbhadana samskara, Jata karma or Namakarna. Then there is Annaprashna, the first grains. They eat Vishnu Prasada, so that for the rest of their lives they are eating Vishnu's Prasadam. And then there is Upanayana. Upanayana means meeting a guru and getting the Gayatri Mantra, studying the Vedas. That's when they are given the Brahmin thread. That's a qualification or an indication that they can study the Vedas. So although he was carrying the thread, his father tried to instruct him, but he did exactly the opposite. Because he was beyond the knowledge of the Vedas. The knowledge of the Vedas are meant to regulate a person, to bring about a sense of discipline and awakening of Krishna consciousness. But his Krishna consciousness is already awake. So he's way beyond the Vedas, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipashchitaha. The Vedas speak about knowledge that's within the modes of nature. And Krishna says to Arjuna, Nishtraigunya bhava Arjuna. Go beyond the knowledge of the Vedas. Meaning go to the transcendental realm. The preliminaries are not necessary for you. In this case, it was not necessary for him. Yeah.
And then another question too.
Can you speak into the mic, please?
How are we to always understand exactly how to understand the Guru's instructions? In some ways it's not really practical to just follow it to the letter. But there's some other examples too, like for instance when Krishna and Balaram were sent to gather firewood for Sandipani Muni and they were caught in a rainstorm, they just continued with their service and they're carrying the blogs in the rain, you know. And so, you know, how are we to understand that practical level? Sometimes, you know, for instance, to go out and sing kirtan or something, and, you know, or we'll just kind of meet circumstances that are just like totally unfavorable. You know, should we continue doing that? Is it just kind of a waste of time? Or, you know, it seems like it's kind of always different.
I'll tell another story from Mahabharata. There were 3 brothers. One of the brothers was ordered by the spiritual master that in the fields, one of the embankments has broken, and so all the water is flooding in. Can you close the embankment? So he went, tried to gather the dirt again and put it back as an embankment. The water still broke it. Then he put some stones. They didn't last. He tried something else. It didn't work. And he genuinely tried all that. But that night he didn't return home. So the Guru wondered, where is my disciple? He hasn't come the whole afternoon. He has not returned. He has not had anything to eat. He didn't come back in the evening. The whole night has passed. He has not come. Let me go find out. He found the disciple lying down. He had made himself the embankment for the water, against the water coming in. And the Guru was thoroughly pleased by him, that you took the instructions so seriously. I'm very pleased with you. And he blessed him that you will never forget anything that I've taught you. So the point is, we can only act on the instruction of the Guru to the degree of our faith in that instruction. We cannot do anything beyond our faith. We die. And we don't have, to the degree we have faith, to that degree we have realized that instruction. And as our faith in the Guru grows, that instruction has deeper and deeper and deeper meanings and applicability. So when we go out, or whatever in our life situations happen, we can only apply to the degree of our faith. We cannot do beyond that. So we don't have to get bent out of shape or disturbed by it. To that degree, we apply thoroughly. Therefore, we see that when a spiritual master gives an instruction, different disciples apply to different degrees, depending on their faith. And so our Krishna consciousness effort every day, prayer to Krishna, to Lord Nityananda, Balaram and all that, is to deepen our faith. Because as the faith deepens, the instruction becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and it starts pervading into our life. Right now, instructions are very discrete for us. Oh, that instruction for that situation. But as the faith deepens, each instruction starts pervading every aspect of our lives. So we work on deepening our faith. So it's okay, to whatever degree we're applying. We can't do more than that. Correct? It would be artificial to do more than that. Suppose our Guru said, go out, distribute books, and we never came back, we didn't eat, we didn't drink. I would be ecstatic one day. Next day, we'd be having deliriums, we'd be hallucinating because we haven't eaten anything. We don't have that faith. I don't have that faith. I can't say we, I don't have. Do we apply only to the degree we have? Deepen it from there. Jitendra Prabhu, and we'll stop with that at 8:30.
To the degree that one is freed from sinful activities, to the degree that one is freed from sinful activities, to that degree he can surrender to Guru.
That's correct.
And
there's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrata. It says the determination to continue in devotional service is proportionate to the degree of freedom from sinful activities.
And then I also remember Srila Prabhupada saying that to submit yourself to submit oneself to the will of another is very difficult.
Very difficult.
And there's one phrase that, one word that sums it up. It's anuchara. Is it? I wrote it down, and Brahmapada Swami was with me, and he wrote it down too.
Anuchara means to follow.
Right. One who quickly assimilates the spiritual master's instruction. What is it? It's called it. What's it?
Anuchara.
Okay, thanks.
Chara means to move. Anuchara means to follow.
Thanks.
That is why we sing in the morning Guru Puja, Ebe Jasha Gushuk Tribhuvana. That the glory of the spiritual master is sung in all the three worlds, because only he has the capacity to make the disciple submissive. To, like you said, to accept another's will is very difficult. And only the Guru is empowered to do that. And therefore his glory is sung throughout the three worlds. We're happy to give our money, we're happy to give everything else, but not our free will to anyone. Submissive. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande.